is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Hi, this is a best-selling author. I threw the best-selling in there. Best-selling author Dick Wybrow.
I'm Melanie from Second Shooter.
This is Jeff with Second Shooter.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Allen from Bridges Ablaze.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
Yo guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola amigos, this is Billy Sheehan.
Hey guys, this is John Karabi.
Hi, this is Jim Valance.
What's up everybody, it's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey guys, it's Leva Leone.
This is Nothing from Inside the Trojan Horse.
What's up guys, Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
My name's Reggie and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
The most amazing things that can happen to a human being will happen to you if you lower your expectations. Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. Here are your hosts, TBT and Ace.
Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. I am TBT. That guy over there is Ace. Welcome to episode 157. If you're joining us like on Facebook or on the YouTubes, be sure to say hi, hit the thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, whatever button there is, just hit it. Those of you that have been around all the time watching these lives or watching the replays, you will notice that both myself and Ace are back to the beginning-ish, sort of. So that means we have an anticipation of Fuzzy Ace tonight. We also have
rotisserie Ace.
Rotisserie Ace, exactly. I can't even keep up anymore, I swear. I'm going to go on a rant. Can I go on a rant? Sure.
Please.
Technology. So last week, we had this show. Everything went fine for the hour that we were on. No issues. Do I need to mute you so you can talk?
No. I'm fixing the light.
Wrong light. So last week we do the show, no problems whatsoever. We get done about 8 o'clock Eastern time. By 10 o'clock Eastern time, that same night, 2200 for you 24-hour people, my internet was gone. Like gone. It was hijacked and in China.
Right. How we made it through the show was a stroke of luck.
No clue. Exactly. So one entire day, 24 hours, no internet. And you never realize how bad you need internet until you don't have it, especially when you live out in the middle of nowhere. And we didn't have it. I had to have my Wi-Fi repair guy come out. He took him hours to figure out what was going on. So we did the classic, just turn it off, turn it back on. Didn't work. So ended up, long story short, ended up doing a factory reset on everything. And if you know, I have a setup to where I've got a signal going across the yard over to the garage, which is where I've been doing most of these podcasts from.
The garage hall.
Right. I go over there tonight to get ready. I'm at 6 o'clock. So an hour before the show, I go over there to get ready. Everything's set up. Now keep in mind, I have a book bag full of crap that I take from the house up there so that I've got everything set up. We're talking lights, cameras, hard drives, iPads, phones, all kinds of stuff. Get up there, get everything set up, get the show ready to go. Everything's ready. Even hit the button that says planet, so everybody gets their little notifications. And all of a sudden, everything's intermittent. It was on, it was off, it was on, it was off, it was on, it was off. It was like someone was taking a light switch and just hitting it up and back and down. So here we go. I packed everything up and I'm back to here. I'm in my dining room.
Really?
And I don't know what's going on out there. So now I've got another troubleshooting thing to do this weekend. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. But that's my rant. Technology. Yeah. It sucks.
Well, yeah, and especially when you are where I'm at, and it's always fuzzy Ace or rotisserie Ace, and mind you, you were talking before the show about getting a booster and all that stuff.
Right.
I've got a Wi-Fi network set up. So I've got, not only do I have fiber optic lines coming in the house, which that's the tippy top technology, right? That I know of. I've got that. We also have a home network.
Yeah.
So I have stations throughout the house to help expand the Wi-Fi. And this particular corner that I had originally chosen to do the show seems to be the Bermuda Triangle of Wi-Fi we've discovered.
Yes, many times, numerous times.
Yeah, right. And there's no reason for it. None.
No.
You know, but as I told you, the reason I'm here, we had guests earlier, so I wanted to be around for that. Plus, Kathy, where I've been doing the podcast, she's under the weather, and I didn't want to disturb her. She's in the chat, you said?
Yeah, which I do appreciate her. I do appreciate her coming in, even though she's sick. At least she's keeping the germs in one place.
Well, I hope she feels better soon.
Absolutely.
She's not felt well for a couple days. So I thought I would not disturb her, get in her way, and then also I didn't want to get sick. So
true.
Here I am, rock you like a hurricane, ready to go.
Yeah. So for, I don't know, maybe the last 72, no, about 24 hours, we've had drizzly, crappy, nasty weather. And that could be the issue because I'm shooting a signal from one place to the other through the sky, which means it's got to dodge raindrops and low clouds or something.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, but I'm going to blame it on the weather because I did
blame
the
it on the
majority
rain.
of the hard work of the hardware stuff, resets, all that fun stuff. And I may not be the best with technology, but I know what I was doing. I'm
Right,
just mad.
right. And a lot of this stuff is not that hard. You know, like you said, a simple reset, plug in, plug out, reboot, that kind of thing fixes most of these problems.
Usually.
And then you get gremlins, you know, involved in ghosts in the machine, and
yeah,
that's what I have. Anyway,
it's ridiculous. I'll say hi to everybody that's in the chat now that they've listened to the rant from both of us. Really, it looks like Mama TBT was the first one in tonight. I want to say hello to you, and of course Nat is in. Glad to have you in. Kathy's in right now, and of course the moderator extraordinaire, Natalie. Welcome to her. Oh, and look, Mrs. TBT showed up. So yeah, if you're watching, just jump in, say hi in the chat. You don't have to talk a whole lot. Just say hi. We like that. We like to know who's there. So yeah, it's good. I'm tired of this weather. It is currently 48 damn degrees. Yeah, we're in Indiana. We get that it's going to get cold.
Right.
But it's only October.
Cold is one thing, but the drizzly cold rain, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, that it kind of just ruins the whole day. You know, I don't mind a little cold. That's whatever, but you add the other elements into it. Yeah, yuck.
I agree.
It's not fun.
Yeah. Oh, hello to Pam. Glad to see you jumped into the chat. See, you guys get, like mentioned when you jump in there. So you have to say hi. Nat says that it's perfect Halloween weather. No, because if I'm in my Kiss concert, my Kiss makeup to go trick or treating in this rain, it's running down the front of my stuff.
Right.
And Kathy hit the nail on the head. She says that's probably why she's sick. And the fact that I'm sleep deprived and working, she said, working her ass off. But she's not working her ass off when she's sleeping, but she's not sleeping because she is working her ass off. That's why you're sick. Drink water. That's what everybody says, right? Just drink water.
Well, or put ice on it.
Oh, yeah. Rub some dirt on it. You'll be fine.
So are you particularly cold or having a bad hair day? Or are you in a motorcycle gang now?
None of the above. It is drizzly. It is rainy. I am just having a bad hair day.
I mean, I'm digging the beanie. Is that what we call that now? A beanie?
This week, yes, it's a beanie. I'm just having a bad hair day, so I kept it on.
Well, it's working for you.
Thanks. between running from one place to the other, setting up in 3 different spots tonight, my hair just went everywhere. Hello, Shannon. I'm glad you made it in as well. We could spend the rest of the episode complaining about things because I got tons of them. It's just ridiculous. But
well, but what did complaining ever get anyone?
Yeah, really nothing.
Free stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of free stuff, nope, I got nothing. You know what though? There is a lot of news this week.
There was a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, some interesting stuff that we'll get into here after a while. But I did look at the weather. Not that anybody that's listening to this really even cares, but we're supposed to see the sun again possibly tomorrow.
Really?
Big yellow thing in the sky. Hopefully we'll see it. I don't know. I may actually have to mow one more time.
Nah, I'm done.
I don't know if I can be. I want to be, but I don't know if I can be.
I am. The leaves have covered the grass, so any growth is obscured by the leaves.
But see, if I mow, then that means I kill that grass because it's going to be cold, right?
I don't know. Is there a rule? Are there rules?
Yes. Say yes so that I don't have to
Yes.
mow.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to. You don't want to kill the grass.
Right. And if I mow now in colder weather, it'll kill it. And then I won't have any grass next year. That's what I'm going with.
None at all.
Yeah. And you know what sucks even more? This is another part that just irritates me. I'm going to continue ranting. We get, as of last week, which you guys hopefully heard and remember. If not, you'll hear it again later on. We get a new sponsor for the show. You can see him down in the corner, right here if you're looking. But we get a new sponsor, and now we're all screwed up with how we're doing this damn thing. That's what's irritating. I don't like to disappoint people. I mean, other than myself.
You just say, you just tell them to visit Petty's Poor Decisions and book them.
But maybe they didn't sign up for Fuzzy Ace or Rotisserie Ace or Biker TBT.
So you're talking about the quality of our podcast.
Yeah, I have to.
Well, ranting about the weather is not helping the quality.
Yeah. Everybody's like, there's nobody watching anymore. Everybody's left because they're like, all they're going to do is complain tonight. Well, I'm sorry, but I was. Whatever. I don't care. It's what I do, at least today. Anyway, there's a lot of news. I'm glad because, and this time, I'm not even going to say it. We don't have any negative news to get into, which is great.
Thankfully.
For a change.
Thankfully.
Our I guess fellow podcaster, I was listening to the tribute to Ace Frehley, sorry, and it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I finally finished it today, and it came out last week or whatever. Finally finished it today.
My goodness, took you a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wish I had the time to just sit around and listen to it all the time, but apparently I have to listen to other people. Eddie Trunk, amazing. One of Ace Frehley's, best friends. They've known each other for 40 years, probably.
Right, 40 years.
What a great tribute. It is basically 2 shows. We're talking 5 hours because there was the one that he pre-recorded because he knew something was happening. Things were going down. Right. And then, like the very next day, after the untimely passing of Ace, he does a show calling in with other stars calling in, other musicians, Nuno Betancourt, John Five, Gary Sharon, just to name a few, a couple guys from Anthrax. What a great show. And I know he's not going to listen to ours, but my gosh, kudos to Eddie Trunk for that show. And being able to go through it and do it and having all these people call in talking about their memories, their favorite songs. What an amazing show. It's really good.
And keeping it together while you do it.
Right.
you're memorializing one of your best friends and doing it on the air, and most people wouldn't even want to go to work.
Right.
But for people like Eddie or what we're doing, it's not really work. It's part of, uh, especially for him, his DNA. So it's what he does. How else would he? How else would he? Pay tribute. So yeah, it was a great show.
Yeah.
And it's still going on. There's people calling into his show all the time, still talking about Ace and sharing memories and that sort of thing. And it's going up beyond just a week. And that's how big the influence of Ace Frehley has been and how it extends.
Yeah, incredible. And to hear some of the stories that everybody was telling was awesome. And you don't. A lot of people don't associate Gary Sharon with somebody who would be influenced by Ace, as a lead singer versus a guitarist. And I know one of the things he said was he was not. They weren't buddies. They were more just acquaintances. But he put out a lot of stuff on his social media about Ace, which they talked a little bit about, but it was awesome. I loved listening to Eddie tell his stories.
Yes.
The wedding story, the fish sandwich story. I mean, those are just things that you don't get to hear all the time,
Yeah.
and you may
Where he
not hear them at all.
Right. Right. You may not hear anything like that typically, but in an instance like this, yeah, it's good to hear these stories, and all of them were hilarious stories. Where you revive someone with a fish sandwich, or you tell someone to be at your wedding early, like an hour early, and they show up how late? Hours late.
Yeah,
and early so they can avoid causing a scene because they're Ace Frehley, right? But then showing up late and end up causing a bigger scene than they would have anyway.
because it's Ace Frehley.
Because it's Ace Frehley. It was hilarious.
Well, speaking of Ace, it has been released from his longtime manager, John Ostrowski. They confirmed that Ace was actually laid to rest at Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx, which is where he was from. 74-year-old musician was buried on Wednesday, just about a week ago today. Um, Following a private ceremony on Tuesday, which was the 21st, so we're talking last week, at Sinatra Memorial Home in Yonkers, New York. There was some thanks that were put out to Frank Sinatra Jr. And the entire staff of the Sinatra Memorial Home. This was not open to the public. This was for close friends and family. Of course, Paul, Gene, and Peter were all there. Of course, Eddie Trunk was there. But one of the things, and a lot of people do this, and I'm actually curious to see how it's going to turn out for Ace. Headstones. Headstones are always almost like a memorial, a dedication to somebody. You've got Elvis's at Graceland. Dimebags is amazing. So it'll be very interesting to see if they even do anything special. I'm using air quotes there, special for Ace's headstone. So I'm as morbid as it sounds. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, they do with it.
Yeah, just because I'm curious.
Yeah, yeah. Real quick, since we mentioned Eddie's tribute, don't do it now, but if you have the opportunity out there, go find it. He releases a lot of that stuff on his podcast, so you can find the Eddie Trunk podcast, and he'll probably have the memorial show already on there wherever you get your podcast, like ours. If you have the Sirius XM app, of course, you can just pull it up there. Search his name, pull it up. It's worth the time. It's really good. If you like rock and roll stories, they don't get any more rock and roll than these.
No. And everybody does an impression of the way Ace talks. And I cracked up every single time because he's just got that high pitched, New York. I don't even want to call it a whine. It's just it's a thing.
Yeah. That's like when people would talk about Dusty Rhodes. and tell Dusty
Right.
Rhodes stories. You were required to do your Dusty Rhodes impression in the wrestling world.
Yeah.
Was always good.
Exactly. Real quick too, I appreciate Mama TBT. She said that I'm allowed to rant once in a while. That's extended to you as well, so we are not in trouble. I will mention that the Viper is in, and he is very happy to see that you're back in the New York groove with your background fuzziness and hopefully no rotisseriness. But while we are on the subject of Kiss, this news broke yesterday, Tuesday. So, because today's Wednesday where we're doing a show. So, this was Monday. Ironically enough, original Kiss drummer Peter Criss has teased an announcement for Halloween. And the speculation is that this is going to be an announcement of his long-awaited new solo album. He's 79 years old. Keep in mind, Ace was the youngest of the current members or of the original members of Kiss.
Right.
There's a very good possibility that this is going to be the long-awaited rock solo album coming in from Peter Criss.
Well, it's in the can. It's ready.
Yeah.
I don't think we have had a single yet. So that's kind of what I was wondering. If it's going to be a single being released.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Criss co-produced it alongside Barry Pointer. And if you don't know who Barry Pointer is, he's worked with Ozzy, Motley Crue, John Five, Steve Stevens, Dolly Parton. I mean, so the guy's kind of, he's been around. Joining him on this LP is Billy Sheehan, John Five,
everybody,
Piggy D, Matthew Montgomery, Paul Schaefer. If you remember him from the David Letterman nights, he's obviously playing piano. There's a lot. The Billy Sheehan is everywhere.
He is. He said recently in an interview, he's bandless at the moment. Winery dogs have taken a break; they're on the back burner. Mr. Big has called it quits. So he's kind of just doing whatever session work or whatever. And then his new band, the Fall or the Fell or whatever we call it. What's it called? The Fell?
The Fell.
The Fell. We'll get into that later. But yeah, he's everywhere because he's got a lot of time to kill.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, the Fell, actually they will probably be featured next week on a regular session. So we won't give too much away about that. But their EP, I'm not going to give too much away. So never mind. I don't want to talk about that. The Peter Criss's, this is going to be his first solo album since 2007.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking that's 18 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Which that one arrived, the one from 18 years ago arrived 13 years after his previous solo release. So we're right on track for getting a Peter Criss solo record. Can't wait for it. I'm trying to see if there's anything here.
Yeah, and that's right. You say you can't wait for it, but I'm kind of the same way. I never really thought about much of Peter's solo career at all. It's not all rock and roll anyway. His musical tastes are eclectic and all over the place, but this one's got a lot of hype. It's got a lot of hype for being just a straight up rock record with a lot of great guests on it, and Peter's really excited about it from all the things I've heard, and it kind of gets me really interested in seeing what he's done with it. I'm kind of excited myself about it.
Yeah, you bring up the difference in the music. The one in 2007 featured a ridiculous range of styles because we had rock, we had jazz, there was Broadway, blues. He had, one of the songs he covered was "Send in the Clowns." Here's Korn. It kind of the same thing. You don't expect that that's going to be coming from a rock star. I guess nowadays you do, because I mean,
Well,
look at Mark Tremonti and his Frank Sinatra stuff. Classic now. That's going to end up being,
right. Right, and you got to remember too, Peter Criss, before he joined Kiss, he was not from a rock background in the first place. He was a jazz drummer.
Yeah.
So he had a whole different style of playing, and that's kind of what attracted them to him, was he was a bit different. So he was already, a bit different in what he liked to play and listen to anyway, years ago.
It'll be with this being a rock one. I can't wait. It's going to be good. I would have checked it out anyway. May not have bought it, but I would have at least checked it out. But this one, I'm with that lineup, and I swear everything that Billy Sheehan touches turns to gold or platinum.
Right. Well, he's got a knack. Billy does, for surrounding himself with quality musicians. Anyway, he's a premier musician himself.
Yeah,
but he's not carrying the weight alone. He surrounds himself with really, really good musicians. Mr. Big was known for being good musicians. The Winery Dogs, Talus. His band in with Roth,
right?
Super talented band. So yeah,
Steve
he's always
Vai.
with. Yeah, name them.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna jump back on Ace real quick. Not you, the Fraley. One of the things that was brought up in the Eddie Trunk special that he did, and which a lot of people may not realize, 2024, 10,000 volts came out, and that's going to be Ace Frehley's his latest album. He was currently working on one before his death. But one thing that's very, very interesting, and this band used to get a lot of crap back in the day. But I think it's because they were, very young. We're talking 18, 19, 20 years old. So basically teenagers to the end. That album was produced by Steve Brown. And if you don't recognize that name, Steve Brown is the former guitarist for Trickster. Yeah, Trickster.
Not only was it produced, he co-wrote most of the songs.
Right.
With Ace. Now, when I heard that, I'm the way you are on Trickster. To me, and I'm not trying to be mean to Trickster, but a band like that was the overkill for what that metal era was, in the sense that almost like a death knell, I guess. People talk about the cookie cutter bands that came along around 88, 89, 90, 91. Everyone's starting to look the same, sound the same, and nothing's really differentiating anymore. It's all this big hodgepodge of the same stuff, and I lump them in with that. So when I heard that Steve Brown's producing and writing with Ace Frehley, I'm like, well, why? It's Trickster, and but it turns out he's a very talented writer, a very talented producer and musician, and also I can't blame him for what he did in 1990.
No,
we've all grown.
Why would you not? I guess that's kind of how I think about it. Why would you not? You got the opportunity to be in a band, to be on stage, make money, sell. I would venture to say that debut album went platinum. If not, I would say it went very close.
It was close. It was close.
June.
Well, they opened for Kiss on the Revenge tour, if I'm not mistaken, because I saw them.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Or somewhere.
Why would you not? To me, and no disrespect, like you said, we've all grown up. I felt that way about Nelson.
Yes.
I felt that way about them. And then what happens when we see them?
I'm a little different on that, in the sense I loved the melodic rock that they put into After the Rain, and the other single that they had put out escapes me at the moment. but I didn't put any thought into how they would be live.
Right.
Did not like the look because it was too pretty. Honestly, it didn't look rock and roll.
Yeah. No pun intended.
No, but they had they had better hair than most women.
Yeah.
At the time. And I'm like you, we saw them live with Winger when they opened for Winger. And if you remember, that was not a gig they had scheduled. They were plugging in for Steelheart canceled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Emelianenko had the heart
Surgery.
issue or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And in comes Nelson, and you and I were about, whoa, this is really good. Like, really good.
I think I looked at you in the middle of their set, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and I was worried about you. I was like, he ain't going to like these guys. But no,
Right?
I was wrong.
Yeah. I would go see them if they were headlining.
Yes. Yeah, I'd go with you.
Yeah, just because it sounded so freaking good.
Well, I saw them in that run, the original run, opening for Cinderella on the Heartbreak Station tour. And maybe I've told this story, but that was the strangest gig I think Nelson probably ever had. Because if you think of Nelson and what we just talked about, fitting in with George Lynch and Lynch Mob, who was the other band, and then Cinderella. I mean, that it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense.
Right.
Half of the crowd on the floor were preteen girls and their mothers. And when Lynch Mob comes out and they're singing Wicked Sensation, that floor emptied out quicker than you could imagine. It was fast.
Right. Well, because a lot of the mothers at that time, they knew who their dad was.
Correct.
They knew about Ricky Nelson. So they were like, oh, this is his kids. Yay. Mm.
Right. And it was safe for music. It was safe. You could bring your right. You could bring your kid to it and feel okay. And then Lynch Mob comes out.
Yeah. It's really funny. It's really funny that you bring up Lynch Mob, by the way.
Yes, because we have a story.
Lynch Mob, George Lynch, basically I don't even remember what year it was, but there was a farewell tour for Lynch Mob. Not necessarily George Lynch, but Lynch Mob. 2003, let's see, I don't even know. Well, George Lynch has recently, and we talk about this all the time with people going on farewell tours, but not really farewelling. Well, George Lynch got called out, and they wanted to know. It was an interview with Rock and Blues Experience. They interviewed George Lynch, and they spoke about why he's still playing shows under the Lynch Mob banner. Just 7 months after the completion of the final ride, which was their farewell tour celebrating Lynch Mob's 35-year legacy. And long story short, he just says, George Lynch says, well, people are like, well, hey, you said you were retiring Lynch Mob. And he just comes out, the only rocker to have ever said this. Motley Crue didn't say this. Kiss didn't say this on any of their farewell tours. Why can I not say that word? He just said, yeah, well, I lied. I changed my mind.
Well, it's interesting he says that because one of his bandmates in Lynch Mob, just a few weeks ago, I forget who, but they basically came out and said to George that from an interview I heard, George wasn't using the Lynch Mob name because he retired it, and they were going out under, I think, just George Lynch.
I think it was like
something
George
else.
Lynch and the Mob.
And the Mob, yeah, something like that. And it wasn't attracting the same crowd or drawing in the same amount of people. And his bandmates practically begged him to let them, please. They kept suggesting it. Please let us use Lynch Mob. That's the name everyone knows. It's that brand. And he finally said, heck with it. We'll just be Lynch Mob again. So
yeah,
that's the story I heard.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's just I find it funny, but I also find it
Yeah,
great that
I
he's like,
lied.
whatever. I lied. I changed my
Yeah.
mind. I'm sorry. Sue
Well,
me.
right, right. I mean, and maybe we do get too wound up about that stuff, but also that's what draws in tickets when you think, oh, it's the last Motley Crue tour.
That's
You
exactly
know,
it.
I'll never see them again, and then so they turn around and well that wasn't fun. We're going to do it again.
Yeah.
Ozzy being the classic retirement sucks tour. Right after he retired.
Yeah. Exactly.
Kiss
George
everybody.
George adds that I make silly decisions, off the cuff decisions, sometimes that aren't well thought out, and here we are. And I just thought that was funny. I mean, that doesn't necessarily really have anything to do with anything, but again, he's the first one to come out and say, "Yeah, sorry, I lied. I changed my mind. I don't want to.
Right.
We didn't have this thing where I'm going to tear up the
Right.
contract."
Well, yeah, and what is like Paul and Gene come out and said, well, when we said farewell tour, we meant farewell to Ace and Peter. That's what we meant.
Or
We
we
didn't
meant
mean us,
farewell to the makeup.
to the makeup. We didn't mean that. We're not quitting.
Yeah.
So you're backtracking and adding caveats to it, and at least George come out and said, well, I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I lied. Whatever.
He owned up to it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a rock star. I changed my mind.
Right.
I needed a new car.
Well, it's a branding issue, is what it is. Everyone knows that logo, whatever band it is. That logo. If you go out as George and the Mob, or Lynch and the George of the Mob, or no one knows who that is.
Or if you're Kiss and you're like, no, we're retiring Kiss, and then you go out as Smooch, but everybody knows it's still Kiss.
Right.
Smooch just doesn't. I mean, that just doesn't look cool in the same logo font. So
I hope that was never an original thought.
We are totally going to grab you, me, Viper, and moderator Natalie, and we're going to create a Kiss tribute band called Smooch.
Smooch.
Yeah. Where Natalie's the only one that wears makeup. I don't know. Daggone it. I thought it was funny. Whatever. You like Tesla?
Love Tesla. I'm a big Tesla fan.
So there's been some speculation, probably about the past, 4 or 5 months. Everybody's like, "Oh, can't wait!" I've heard rumors that Tesla is going to make a brand new album, and then it was like, "Oh, They're not going to do one. They're just going to do singles and stuff." We've talked about that many times before. But in a new interview, Tesla guitarist Frank Hannon once again spoke about the possibility of him and the rest of the band releasing a full-length album as a follow-up to the one that they had in 2019 called Shock. And as our friends in Blabbermouth state, he says, and I quote, "Well, with Tesla, I really do like the ability to create a song independently and put it out as we do. At our point of our career that we're now at 40 years and being older guys, it doesn't make sense to try to fabricate. I love the use of that word, fabricate 10 songs just to put 10 songs out on one record. It makes more sense for us to work on a song and enjoy the process and let it develop. And then when it's ready, put it out the one song one at a time. It seems to work better for Tesla when it's writing. But the one thing that we are enjoying a lot is digging into our influences and songs that Jeff Keith can really get into singing." Jeff Keith, of course, the lead vocalist for Tesla. He adds, "We're experimenting with some old soul tunes, like old cover songs, maybe some James Brown, maybe some Temptations, some different kinds of things like that." He continues on with a bunch of things, but basically this boils down to, don't expect an album. Don't expect a full-length album. We're going right back to what we talked about. Singles.
Well, and there's two schools of thought on new music from older artists, and this is from the artists themselves. Like some of them are, well, we're creative people. We that's what we do. We're going to put out records, whether you buy them or not. But we're creative people, and we're going to tour behind the record like we always have. The other school is no one wants to hear the new record, so we're just going to tour and play the hits, and just live off of that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with either one, necessarily. I don't. Uh, if you put out a really good single, maybe that's even more valuable than or an EP, more valuable than putting out 10 or 12 songs, and some of it's good, some of it isn't.
But some of them don't even get listened to. Like if you put out 10 songs and you may release 2, as singles, maybe up to 5 or whatever. Let's say it's 5. There's still 50% of that album that may never get heard. And and a lot of people don't realize how much blood, sweat, and tears really goes into putting that album together. You're talking, production and laying the tracks down. So I hate to say it, but it makes sense.
I mean, imagine even if you're doing it yourself and you're using Pro Tools in your basement, and guys are coming in and doing tracks as they go. Someone's got to run that board or run that computer and play the instruments. It's still a lot of work, and for what? For I'm not knocking anyone that makes new music.
No,
but if you're an established act, and Tesla has, I don't know how many records, quite a few, but they may just not see the value in putting out new music when they're going to go on tour and they're going to play the first 4 records.
Right. Pam makes a very, very good point in the chat. And she's really talking about the times like it's today. With the digital age, why not? That's how Hardy began. A single or EP with really good songs would do so much better than pumping out filler songs. She is absolutely correct.
Right.
We've had a few guests on this show who all they
we talked to Mark
done,
McKay about this.
Right. Inside the Trojan Horse, they released an EP.
Yeah.
It seems like only the bands that are big now, your Sleep Tokens, your Megadeth, who really has always been big. They're the ones that are Ghost. They're the ones putting out these big albums, but it's almost like a teaser. You put that EP out, let's see how well it does. Let's see if the people grab it. If they like it, they want more. President, there's another perfect example. They released.
We're going on tour soon.
Yeah, and I'm very pissed off about that because they're not going to be anywhere near us. Anyway, put that EP out. Give these, either new bands or old bands, whatever they are, give them a taste of what you can do. Tesla, they may not be able to sing those songs like they used to. They've been around for 40 plus years. Look at Aerosmith. Yeah. They're not putting out new stuff. You've got freaking Steven Tyler teaming up with Youngblood and putting out a track, a single. Is it an Aerosmith single? Is it a Youngblood single? Whatever.
I think you mentioned Aerosmith, and they talk about how they're not doing anything now. They've retired, right? But Tyler's got enough of a voice back. I don't know why you wouldn't put out a single with Joe Perry and Brad Whitford and everybody, and or 2 or 3 songs. They don't need a record and they don't need a tour.
Right.
But it'd be cool to hear something new if it was a good. Because think about it, you can write a good song, a good song or 2 good songs, and pump them out, and everyone's going to love it because it's Aerosmith.
Right.
The first time I saw this type of thing was a few years ago with Fozzy, when they put out Nowhere to Run.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think there was a record with it, or if it was, it came out way late. But they let that single just lay there forever, and it was so good. And I think Chris Jericho even talked about that. Why are we going to put out records? We're going to put out singles here, singles there, as we feel.
And we
You
always
know,
go back to Chris Jericho because I mean it was the perfect interview, the perfect thing that he discusses. You know, put the singles out. It's working for
yeah,
most bands. Spend your time touring, you know, doing stuff outside of sitting in the studio and recording. I get it.
right,
It sucks
yeah,
because when we were growing up, it was that anticipation of that album. Now it's like a
right,
freaking 5-6 song teaser, and you're like, what do I do with this?
right. And it's we've talked about it before. It's disposable. You
Absolutely.
know, it's so disposable, and good for good, better for worse. Uh, you know, and I'm a Tesla fan, but am I excited about a new Tesla record? I don't know. Maybe I might listen to it. You know, I
I'm
might
gonna listen
not.
to it. Doesn't mean I'm gonna like it, but at least I'll listen to it and give it a
Right,
shot. Maybe I would be okay with just 4 songs.
right. 4 really good songs.
Yeah. Put that effort
I
into
keep
those 4 songs.
right. I don't think it means the death of of records by any means. Like you mentioned, the bigger bands that are current, Sleep Token, Ghost, those types of band, you know, they're out there putting out really, really good quality records because they're in the prime of their career. You
Yeah.
know, there's no need for Tesla to worry about it. If they want to experiment about cover record, the Temptations and Motown, uh, they've earned that right to do whatever they want.
Exactly. They've earned it. Um, we've got a few more stories that we're going to try to get through real quick before the end of the evening. But before we do that, I want to pay some homage to our sponsor because if you haven't heard this commercial yet, well, you're going to because that's what we do. We have to try things new.
Craving a bar that rages as hard as your mosh pit? Petty's Poor Decisions rolls in with a mobile bar that slays weddings, parties, and epic events. Custom cocktails, killer service, no lame excuses. Why settle for weak vibes when you can crank it to 11? Head to Petty's Poor Decisions on Facebook and ignite your next gig. Poor Decisions never rocked this hard.
And there we have it. Petty's Poor Decisions. Look them up on the Book of Face. If you're in
Did
the
you hurt
central
yourself
Indiana
recording
area,
that?
southern central, whatever, look them up. Book them. You still have parties in this freaking wintertime. Plus, they support us, which makes them really cool. Right?
Did you hurt yourself recording that?
No. I'm going to do another one, and it's going to be for like diapers. Pampers, diapers, catching your shit every day. It's only got to be like 30 to 45 seconds though. I can't handle a bunch of it.
TBT needs no effects.
No.
No effects.
Wait till I do the next one sounding like Donald Duck.
I can't wait.
That'll be out on my EP.
Your greatest hits EP.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna call them Viper Diapers. There we go. I'm gonna trademark that. That would be good. But yeah, we want to. We thank Petty's Poor Decisions for coming in and being a sponsor for us. We really appreciate it. We do have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame coming up, and it was finally announced, almost shockingly, in my opinion. Simon Kirk, who is the Bad Company drummer, spoke about Bad Company's upcoming Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, which was announced back in April, of course, after they've been eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for what seems like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 decades. They've been eligible.
Right.
He was asked if fans can expect to see him and Paul Rogers perform at the induction ceremony. And I know when I was first listening to or reading about this and heard about it, I was like, yeah, he's going to tell them to pack sand. Boy, was I surprised.
Well, it was up in the air for a long time, right?
It was. It's going to be held November 8th at the Peacock Theater in Los Angeles. But he said, I think the secret is out that we will perform a couple songs. We don't know which ones.
Right.
We can probably assume what they would be, but You know what they say about assuming, it turns you into a viper. So he's basically cautiously said yes. He's not at liberty to say which songs. And really, he says he doesn't give a shit. We're going to play,
He says,
and whatever Paul chooses is fine by him.
yeah,
So
whatever Paul chooses, and that'll be whatever Paul Rogers is comfortable with vocally.
Yeah.
I don't know when the last time Paul has done anything.
I don't know.
It says here, though, as for now, Paul's voice is these days, considering that Rogers revealed in September of 2023 that for the first time, that years earlier he had suffered 11 minor strokes and 2 major strokes, which nearly ended his career. So Kirk says, I haven't heard him sing since we last played together. And quite honestly, I know he has sung, and we're going to do a couple rehearsals for the cameras and so forth. So that's interesting. I didn't know he had all those medical issues.
Yeah, and they had done their last show over 5 years ago. It was in Vegas, and that was Bad Company and Leonard Skinner, because they were flip-flopping those headline shows on that tour.
Yeah,
right. And that's the last time those two played together. So it's exciting because one of the remarks that that Simon says, and I'm going to quote this because I'm going to get it right. He goes, just to play with him again is going to be a real thrill for me because I missed him. I missed playing with the band. I missed playing particularly with Paul because he's such a wonderful singer. And that's great to hear. I mean, of course, this is your bandmate, you know, that obviously, you know, are still getting along. But it's good for them. I'm glad. It'll be great. I'm sure they'll sound fine, but that's pretty exciting in my books.
Well, I'm just glad they're getting it done now, getting them inducted now, because, I mean, this guy's had 11 minor strokes and 2 major strokes, and we've waited decades.
Yeah.
And thank God Paul Rogers is around to see it and performing. Thank God.
Right.
Because that may not have happened just a few years ago.
No. If I was a betting man years ago with that, no way. One of the biggest super groups to go on tour in the last few years, which I still consider them a super group. They are.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Stop. We failed to mention that you and I both listened to the Bad Company tribute record that just came out. At some point, we'll have to discuss that because it was really good.
Yes.
So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I had to get that out.
I actually forgot about that. Why don't we save that for next week? Because I'd like to go through that track by track. And we've only got a few minutes left for this evening, but I don't want to run through it fast and not give the listeners the opportunity to hear actually what we have to say if they care about what we say about this album. Because I've got some thoughts on numerous tracks on that, but I will say it's good. If you want to listen to it before next week's show, please go listen to it. It's the Bad Company tribute album. Especially if you listen to it and you're in the chat, because I would love to hear your opinion as well. So yeah, we'll cover that next week. As I was saying, Sammy Hagar, actually I said Supergroup, but now that I give it away, Sammy Hagar has announced that the Best of All Worlds tour is headed to our friends over in the UK for a huge arena tour kicking off on July 4th, 2026. I want you to keep in mind that all we've heard recently has been, we're going to stay in Vegas. We're not going to tour.
That's
anymore.
retirement. That's retirement.
We're staying in Vegas. However, I'm sure the money talked, but that has changed. Remember, the Best of All Worlds band includes Joe Satriani, Michael Anthony from Van Halen, and Powerhouse drummer Kenny Aronoff, which I want to touch on that in here in a second, with special guest Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, who I just saw just a few months ago, and opening act Jailer. Don't know anything about them, never heard of them. I know people that are jailers, but that's all. I'm looking for tour dates, and it says the huge tour is four dates. The Best of All Worlds UK Tour 2026, July 4th in Manchester, July 5th in Birmingham. Did you like how I pronounced that correctly?
You said Birmingham.
I did, because that's
Not
correct.
Birmingham.
No, that's Alabama.
It's Birmingham.
That's Alabama.
That's why I got confused when they would talk about it with Ozzy. People would say Birmingham. Like, why are we in Alabama?
Right. July 7th in Leeds and July 9th at the O2 Arena in London. I don't know. I don't suspect that they're going to add any more dates to that. Still 4. That may be all they want before they head back to Vegas. And I don't blame them. So, but that's kind of cool.
They could add more shows. I guarantee it depends on just what happens. That's in July. Yeah. There's plenty of time to add shows if they want.
I'm hoping that there's no bad blood between UK fans and Kenny Aronoff. You know, because of the whole drummer debacle that we went through last year. I don't think there will be, but I'm actually kind of surprised. I'm 50-50 on it. I'm surprised that Kenny's playing it and not Jason, since they're going to the UK. But I know Jason has his own tour that's coming up, continuing on with the I think it's still called the Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin Experience, I think is what it's still called. I don't know. But still,
I think once they made the change in drummers, I don't think there was any reason to change back just for this. And from Sammy's perspective, I don't think, and Jason as well, I don't think there's any animosity or bad blood. It was just circumstances.
Right.
You know, it was circumstances, and now it's worked out, and Kenny's there and reliable, and that was part of the issue anyway. Was all of that other stuff going on with Jason's mom.
Yeah.
And the medical stuff and just whatever. But I don't think they'll switch back. I don't see any reason to. And I don't think anyone would mind.
No, exactly. I agree. Rounding out tonight's news, if you will, it's really not even news. If you don't know, if you're not a follower of rock history, especially from the days of hair metal, hair bands, or whatever, did you know? I should have put this on our socials. Did you know that Bret Michaels was actually on the fence when it came to hiring a guitar player? Because of the 3 that they had ready to go to pick, one of which was CC DeVille.
You talking about from Poison?
Yep, from Poison. One of which, of course, was CC DeVille. The other one was Saul Hudson. If you don't know who that is, his stage name is Slash. So think about 1986 Poison. Think about Slash wearing the makeup and all of that jazz.
Well, that's funny. Go ahead before I get on a rant.
You can get on a rant here in just a minute since we're running out of time. Obviously, they ended up going with CC, which I don't think they could have asked for anything better. That worked out great for CC even after he left the band and then returned. We'll probably see them on tour next year. But it also obviously worked out for Slash, who ended up obviously with Guns N' Roses once there was the change from Tracy Guns and all of it. They're all
right
intertwined.
All intertwined. And I didn't mean rant. I meant make a point, but off on a tangent here. But Slash is one of the guys that has been mentioned as the almost guitar player in I don't know how many bands. He tried out for everybody trying to get, that rock and roll dream to come true. And his name pops up everywhere. I don't know that he would have fit in Poison for what they were wanting to do. I don't know.
No, completely different band.
I think they ended up with the right guy in CC, and I think Slash ended up right where he was supposed to be.
Absolutely.
You know, he tried out for Kiss.
Kiss.
When Vinny got the gig, right?
Yeah.
And he was only 15 at the time.
Yeah.
You know, and they that's one reason they didn't take him, was he was so young.
We gotta go. Thanks. It's Slash's bedtime.
Right. and what makeup do you get for a guy named Slash? Just
What kind of question is that?
I'm just asking.
It's
You got to
valid.
come up with your own.
It's
You got to come
valid.
up with your own makeup.
Yeah.
This was you know, around that time, so.
Yep, I agree. But think about that. Poison could have been different. They could have been Poison with Slash. Guns N' Roses could have been different. They could have been Guns N' Roses with CC. Think about that. Think about that all week long. As we mentioned earlier, be sure to check out the Bad Company tribute album. Try to get that listened to over the next week. You have 7 days because we will discuss it and we want to hear your feedback on that. This was episode 157. Of course, I am TBT. That guy over there, that's Ace. We are the Weekly Pour Podcast, and we appreciate you listening. Be sure to like all of our socials. We're on Instagram, the Tick of the Talk, Facebook, YouTube, all that fun stuff. So join us next time and this time. Go listen to our shit. Damn. Gotta go.
Good night.
Viper diapers.